What's good, my people? What's good? So I'm doing this video. This is pretty much this is my take on Stephen A. Smith's. He pretty much, spoke how he felt about the Shannon Sharpe situation. And, I had mixed feelings about it. A lot of people are saying that he's throwing Shannon Sharpe to the wolves. Some people feel that he is, showing support to Shannon, from a distance. And there's even some that feel that he's just letting people know what the media industry is and how the business is being ran. Like you're not untouchable. Even if your platform is on YouTube, you're not untouchable. Like you still have a boss. You got to answer to somebody, right? So I understand completely where he's coming from. If you're on a YouTube platform and you are destined to, your destiny is to have sponsors, and you're destined to have major collaborators or major brands to support you, to get to that next level, you have to protect your brand. You cannot put yourself in situations that will jeopardize your brand or anybody else's brand because they are partnering with you, right? So I completely understand where Stephen A. Smith is coming from. We have to be very careful how what we do on our personal time. We have to be very careful how who we deal with, who we associate with. I was listening to a video the other day, and a gentleman was saying how, he's a millionaire. And, he might have a friend that might say, hey, listen, let me borrow $5,000. I have a business venture that I want to get into, whatever the case is. And say you give this guy the $5,000 and you look up and he invested it in drugs, right? If this guy catches a major drug charge of some type, you can be looked at as someone who invested in his business and get caught up on a RICO charge. So we have to be very careful who we associate ourselves with on all levels. You understand what I'm saying? Now with the Shannon Sharpe thing, you have to, when you're at a certain age, you have to be careful who you associate yourself with, right? This age gap thing is very important on all levels, right? If you're 56, 50 years old, whatever age you are, and you're dealing with a 19-year-old, right? There's certain things that you might encounter, certain behaviors, certain things that you might not need to tolerate as a 50 or 60-year-old man. Now, granted, there are older women out there probably doing the same thing, right? But we have to be careful how people look, how businesses, how corporations, and how people look at us ethically. Because what he did was not right or wrong. It's ethics. This is all about the code of ethics, right? And we have to understand that code of ethics and how it works. So with Shannon Sharpe, I wholeheartedly believe that this is just going to all roll over. I actually commend him for still remaining 10 toes down and still in business. Like, this dude is still on YouTube doing the nightcap thing. Tonight he was on there with Antoine Walker and Ocho Cinco. So I like that he's still out here working, regardless of his situation that he's going through. This dude is not stopping. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, he stepped away from ESPN or whatever. Some people saying, oh, he got fired or whatever the case is. Listen, whatever happened, you know what I'm saying? He probably felt like that was the best thing for him to do. Why wait until to get that pink slip from them saying, hey, listen, we need you to step away for a minute. Just take that step yourself, right? So salute to Shannon Sharpe, man. Like, this man is a GOAT at what he does. You know what I mean? I salute anybody who played any type of sport and they're able to take their brand, meaning themselves, to the next level and be successful. Feel me? On another note, I want to talk about what's this kid's name? What is this kid's name? And y'all know who I'm talking about. Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders. First of all, congratulations to Shedeur Sanders for being drafted by the Cleveland Browns. You know, I think he got the 144th pick. You know, I was kind of wondering, this is not a video trying to bash Jay-Z, but, you know, I was hoping, you know, Jay-Z probably could have stepped in and, you know, maybe helped the situation or whatever. But like I said, you know, that was just a thought. That was just a thought. And I no way, shape, form, or fashion want to, you know, bash Jay-Z or whatever. I just feel that the NFL needs to be a little bit more diverse when it comes to these NFL drafts and the corporate structure of the corporate structure of the NFL. Like, there needs to be more people that look like us in there, you know, so this doesn't happen again. Because I'm pretty sure, like, this wasn't all about skill, why he got the 144th pick. You understand what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure this was all about the NFL trying to let the world know that we are still in control of the agenda. Like, I don't care how many followers you have. I don't care who your father is. I don't care what you did. We control this agenda. And I'm just glad that he got chosen by a team. Like I said, it's sad that it had to come to this, like him waiting like this and people making prank calls to him, like just really kind of like just making like it was just unprofessional. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm pretty sure there was dudes that got drafted that was nowhere near on the level of you know, where he was at. You know, people are saying that, you know, some of the organizations didn't want to deal with his let me put his parade. You know what I'm saying? They're saying his brother was doing a lot of his videography, you know, taping where he was at, wherever he's going. And a lot of these teams, they're not gonna go for that. You know, so they find any little thing to make us have to look bad or make us feel like, oh, we're not, you know, worth what we actually are. Shout out to the train. But yeah, man, you know, this is a time right now, man. It's a time in the world right now where, you know, African Americans, you know, we are successful in so many different areas, so many different genres, you know, especially the world of media, you know, where we're able to be transparent and be vulnerable with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like when we in different vulnerable states, you know what I mean? Like, we're able to just express how we feel, you know, and just, just keep it real, you know? So, but yeah, man, like, I hope that Shannon Sharpe, you know, he just keeps pushing. It's just unfortunate, you know, what happened, you know, and we have to be very, very mindful, you know, how we are moving in these streets. Like, we have to be very mindful who we're dealing with. We have to be spiritual. And once again, I'm not bashing him for messing with a 19-year-old girl. Like, it's all good. Like, do what you do, but know that, you know, ethically, you're gonna be judged. You're gonna be judged, and when you judge over ethics, you know, you lose opportunities. So yeah, man, just shout out to Shannon. Hope everything works out well. Stephen A. Smith, like I said, the speech that he gave today, I feel, he was being completely honest. He was just letting the world know, hey, listen, don't ever feel like just because you're on YouTube and you don't have to clock in that you don't have someone that you have to quote unquote answer to, and not to the point where it's like it's a yes sir or yes ma'am thing, but like you you um you have to be conscious of how you move. Because if you're trying to get to that next level of having sponsorships, like I might want to have a restaurant, one of these restaurants sponsor my brand or whatever the case is. One of these beautiful restaurants out here in Jersey sponsor my brand. You know what I'm saying? If I want that to happen, then I have to move accordingly. I have to be professional. You don't want to jeopardize any relationships by just being unprofessional or being unethical, because if you are a representation of their brand and you're moving unethical, then that could jeopardize their business and what they have going on. So we have to be very, very mindful how we move. Be very mindful how we move, and and everything is gonna go fine. Everything's gonna go well. All right. So once again, shout out to Shannon. Shout out to Sanders, the Sanders family. You know what I mean? Because that legacy is real. You know what I mean? Dion, he set the bar. Now his sons will raise the bar. All right. So listen, I want all y'all to stay focused out there. There's nothing wrong with being an entrepreneur. Nothing wrong with, starting your own business, being your own boss. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? You're gonna get to where you gotta get to. It's just that you have to be disciplined on how you move when it comes to your brand. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure y'all stay focused out there. Be careful who you have in your circle. You got to be careful. You got to be careful because things can easily go wrong. All right, so one love.